really what I'm trying to do is make this blog into a dance show. So, nah, I'm just joking. I'm not good enough at dancing, but hey yo! Thanks for tuning in. Ha ha ha, I don't know if you really have a choice. It's fine. Anyway, so last time I think I left off with that we are going to talk about a really cool breakfast that I got to go to this past week. Anyway, so this past week I got to go to a breakfast. I was invited to a breakfast. Ooh, invited to a breakfast for to have breakfast with Dean Sarah Neal. A dean invited me to breakfast. I don't even normally eat breakfast. Anyway, so I was invited to breakfast with Dean Sarah Neal, which was really, really exciting for me. And the breakfast was more specifically to talk about what Simmons was doing and what Simmons is trying to do to help trans and gender non-conforming students on campus. Pop quiz, what is gender non-conforming? Alright, that's real annoying. So if you don't know what gender non-conforming is, that's why I'm here. Ho, ho, ho. So gender non-conforming means that you do not identify as female or male. You kind of fall on this beautiful spectrum. If you don't really understand all of this gender talk I do, I'm going to put in the link below. I'll put a connection to a really great resource guide called The Genderbread Person. I love The Genderbread Person. I use it with my residents. I use it with everyone and anyone and always. So it's real great. Anyway, so I was invited to breakfast with Dean Sarah Neal. Myself and 4 other students were there, and we got to listen to her talk about what Simmons is doing to try and work with and help students who are trans or gender non-conforming. And it was really, really cool. Simmons is starting to try and do things that are really, really great. One of those things is mapping out the bathrooms. So at Simmons, we've got 2 campuses. We've got academic campus and we got residential campus. Now, residential campus is over here. And I live on res campus, which is cool. But I also have a job on res campus. I'm an RA. Someone thought that was a good idea. Anyway, so all of our bathrooms on res campus, in the res halls, are gender neutral, except for one. In Simmons, we have a women's only floor, and that bathroom is women's only, which makes sense, right? Anyway, so, but on academic campus, we have bathrooms that are gendered. So we've got male and female bathrooms. Now, if you remember, that kind of gets awkward for people like me. And it gets especially awkward for people who are gender non-conforming. Because what you're asking someone to do when they walk into that space is to genderize themselves. I'm not sure if that's a word. I'll get back to you on it. And kind of say, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is my gender. Which can be really discomforting for people who don't identify on that spectrum at all. And for trans people, it can be a not safe space, if you don't remember. It can be a space where we get funny looks it can go from funny looks to getting verbally or physically harassed. So it's a really uncomfortable situation. So what Simmons is doing is trying to map out where there are gender-neutral bathrooms. So gender-neutral bathrooms are normally single-stall bathrooms that are really, really great, and it's really, really awesome. And that makes me really happy. Simmons is also doing training with staff, which I believe is coming up, which is really great. They're also going to do training with the health center and the counseling center to try and bring in more understanding around trans issues and how to help a trans student, and also maybe even making it so that the health center can distribute hormones to trans students, which like this little trans dude would be totally into, because that would make the transition process a lot easier for me. Also, Simmons is looking into, Dean Sarah Neal is looking into making a point person for changing your name on emails, changing your name on the system, changing your name everywhere, so that it's a lot easier for students whose real name is not their given name. So your given name is the name that you were assigned at birth, and your real name is your real name. So I was assigned at birth with the name Danielle. Ooh. That is not a name that, one, I respond to ever, but two, is not my chosen name at all. I go by Danny, Daniel, I go by Dan the Man, Danny Boy, and Daniel, but I do not ever go by my given name, because it's awkward and it's not who I am. The catch to that, though, is on the first day of classes, all of my professors call my given name, which is awkward. And my email address is, one of the choices for my email address is danielle.boucher@simmons.edu. Awkward. So what Dean Sarah Neal is looking into is trying to make a point person for that and bring in some change with that. We talked to her a lot, and it was really great. It was awesome to actually be listened to and feel like what you were saying was making a difference, because these are a lot of conversations I have with friends. These are a lot of conversations I have with people, and it feels like you're kind of, like bouncing these ideas off of a wall and no one's listening. But to just have the dean of student life, come and be like, hey, this is really great. You know what? Here's my card. If you have any questions, if you want to ever talk about things, let me know. And that was, really great. It was really kind of comforting to see that Simmons is trying to make a change and we're trying to move to things. And it's I don't know. It's beautiful. It makes me happy as a student being here, and even more proud to call Simmons my alma mater, or my college now and later my alma mater, and know that this is where I'm growing into a human being, is at Simmons. It feels really great. So, yeah, I had breakfast with a dean. What? Well, that's all I got for this podcast. Next time, we're going to talk about porn. Haha, JK. But we are going to talk about a porn star. Boom. Blowing your mind. Anyway, I hope you have a great week. Thanks for listening. Bye.